Reuters, 31st of October 2023, the mining ban in Chinese-occupied Myanmar disrupts the supply of tin concentrates to China. China supported the coup in Myanmar to impose control over the country and force it to carry out its will. September saw a sharp decline in China's imports of tin concentrates caused by the closure of mining operations in neighboring UWSA state and semi-autonomous Myanmar. At the beginning of August, all mining and processing operations were to stop to conduct a thorough audit of the tin sector by the United UWSA State Army, UWSA, the largest ethnic group in Myanmar. More than 70% of the tin produced in Myanmar, the third largest producer in the world and the main supply to China's smelters, comes from the UWSA mines. The concentrate supply to China's smelters is now beginning to be restricted due to the ongoing prohibition. In preparation for the suspension of operations, Chinese companies stocked up on refined and raw tin, and the impact on the supply chain has been minimal thus far. It helps that the electronics industry, which uses tin for circuit board soldering and accounts for over half of all tin usage worldwide, is currently experiencing weakness. China hasn't been able to diversify its raw material supply very well, so the longer the ban is in place, the more material it will lose from Myanmar. Fill-in slump. September saw 7,300 metric tons of tin concentrate imports into China, the fewest since February 2019. Before the mining moratorium, imports from Myanmar saw a brief spike in July and August but then fell to just 1,421 metric tons. Most likely, what is entering the nation comes from mines outside the UWSA area, notably the Hinda mine in southern Myanmar's Dananthar Yi district and the Machi mine in Kaya state. However, there isn't much room for offsets within Myanmar because most of the country's output is produced in the WA-controlled area. Furthermore, China has not been able to lessen its reliance on Myanmar for raw materials considerably. Recently, the DRC has emerged as the second-largest supplier, following Myanmar, with imports increasing by 24% annually to 21,600 metric tons between January and September. That is still a tiny amount compared to the 137,000 metric tons that have crossed the Myanmar border this year. Although Chinese consumers have increased their purchases from other suppliers, including Bolivia, Brazil, and Russia, the amounts have only slightly risen. They are still far short of what is required to compensate for the loss of raw material. Minimal influence. Thus far, the restriction imposed on Myanmar has not significantly affected China's refined tin production or price. China's smelters increased their output to 130,000 metric tons, up 5.6% annually, according to state research organization AITIC. The 3-month tin price on the London Metal Exchange, LME, moved sideways, hovering about $25,000 per metric ton. The massive supply levels and weak consumer demand outweigh any premium for disruptions from Myanmar. The surge in tin consumption for household electronics during the lockdown of 2020 to 2021 has been replaced by a protracted decline. According to the International Tin Association, global usage decreased by 3.2% last year and is predicted to reduce by 1.6% this year as customers worldwide cut back on their purchases of electronic items. LME stocks are currently 7,120 metric tons, up from a low of 1,510 metric tons in April. Time spreads entered a contango at the beginning of August and have stayed highly loose, indicating an abundance of metal available. Right now, the tin supply chain has been fortunate in that a period of market excess has coincided with the production loss from such a significant supplier. When operations at the UWSA mines will be permitted to resume has not been made official. The UWSA's primary revenue stream from tin mining should help to prevent a protracted halt. But September's sharp decline in Chinese imports from Myanmar indicates that the mining ban is beginning to have an impact. And it is doing so at the same time that demand is beginning to pick up steam. Global semiconductor sales, a good indicator of soldering tin usage, peaked in the first quarter of 2023 and have subsequently increased monthly for 6 months.